But that is just one aspect of it. If you look at the other aspect of when they finally come up with their reports and, you know, the battle they have with the executive in terms of getting the resolutions of those reports implemented, how would you suggest that they also go about it? We're seeing now that there is a standoff between the National Assembly, or let's say the House of Reps specifically, and SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, where they have refused to allocate money to that particular commission, and they're saying that that is their own way of protesting the non-implementation of the report that they had. Would you say that that is the way to go about it?
You see, you can't be an investigator, a persecutor, or a prosecutor, and you also become an adjudicator. It's never allowed. Their duty primarily will be to investigate, to expose. When they have done that, and then the rest is forwarded to the appropriate executive arm of government to be able to address. At the point when the executive arm of government has looked at the issue and they feel, oh, there are prima facie cases to be leveled against this individual, that matter goes to the judiciary. So the three arms of government are involved in this. You see, you do not therefore come to protest to say, since I have done my own investigation, I have exposed this, because the other arm has not implemented same, I must punish that particular organ or parastatal that is involved. You should be able to look beyond that parastatal, because the parastatal is not the one that will decide. There is an overlord over that parastatal, and that which is the executive arm of government. They are the one that they should work with. Because if all of us are saying we want to address the issue of corruption, it's a serious monster.
Isn't that why we also complain about the issue of implementation of such recommendations that comes out of
you
committees?
See, the National Assembly would have been through with its own. We will channel our energy towards the organ of government that is refusing to act. All of us will be asking questions. They have done A, B, C, D. Why are you holding the file under the table?
But you've always heard stories about you can't actually force us. We also have to set up our own committee to look into the works of other committees.
We can't force them. But at the same time, we will also be asking questions. And where they are refusing to do what they ought to do, mandamus can lie. Mandamus can lie, compelling them to do what they ought to do. They can take a decision and say, we are not prosecuting because there are no sufficient facts. In that regard, they have taken a decision. Then they will come to the public court. The public court will now be asking, with what we have seen, with what we have heard, with what we have read, with what we have noticed, are you saying that these are not sufficient grounds for you to take action? Why did you act in this way? We expose the officer that is involved.
Which public court is that? Sorry. Are you still talking about somewhere in the judiciary?
No. When I talk about the public court, we are here in the public court. What we are doing now is the public court. The public opinion. They won't hear. Nigerians are beginning to speak.
So much as you support the National Assembly, you know, in going about setting up their committees and getting resolutions from it, you do not think that they should take this underhand measure they have taken to ensure the enforcement of the resolutions?
If they get beyond that, it becomes persecution. If it gets beyond that, it becomes persecution.
So you think that they're persecuting SEC now?
No. The point I'm trying to say is that your right ends at my nose. You're right. You can swing your hand this way, whichever way you want to do it. But when it gets close to my nose, you are encroaching on my right. When they have exposed, and we have seen, and we will commend them. Nigerians will commend them. We will say, yes, you've done right. This is your duty. You have performed your duty. Kudos to you. Executive members, maybe it is the police, or maybe whoever that is involved. Why are you not taking your action? We shift the blame by that particular, but they shouldn't go further, and that's my counsel. They shouldn't go further to say, we will not approve this, we will not do this. Then that means they are past judgment.
Do you smell a rat? Do you think there's some kind of collusion between some of the committees and the ministry or agencies or parastatals they were supposed to be oversighting? Because, if they were actually doing their jobs, we shouldn't be waiting for the EFCC or other agencies to uncover a case of fraud or inefficiency in the discharge of their duties, because now it has become a case of always finding out things about ourselves as a nation before the oversight, should I say, commissioners speak up.
You see, in one of the interviews I granted, not on channels, I said there is a monster in the country which is so strong that for us to be able to conquer it, it will take a long period of time. I can tell you, gentlemen, you people at Channel are doing wonderfully well. And I think not many persons will like what you people are doing. You see, I read you're something exposing, intrigue, and all the rest of them. And these things are coming afore. The point is this. You can't rule that out. You can't rule that out. Because here is a person, or here is an organization, here is a system that the corruption itself has become so endemic. This was what was on when General Muntala Mohammed came on board in 1975 or thereabout and purged the civil service. And I say this without contradiction. If politicians are 10% corrupt, the civil service, those of them in the civil service, they are 90% corrupt. No politician can steal a naira without the connivance of, they have various positions: assistant director, deputy director, director, permanent secretary. I mean, these are institutions. They are the one.
So in closing, in your closing speech now, remarks now, what would you like to see now that we're starting? Because it's still pretty early in the year. Today is just the 14th of January, and pretty soon they will kickstart another sitting.
You see, I read what Senator Ashafa said. He said they are going to start early. I think that would be good enough. They should not be deterred. The fact that you go to war and you have 2 of your soldiers killed shouldn't mean you shouldn't pursue that war. I mean, this is a war in which so many of their men will be bruised, because if they were going there without corruption in mind, the institutions they were going to investigate, or they are going to investigate, will be there to throw the carrot at them. So they shouldn't worry. So when you have your general, make sure that there is a lieutenant that follows. As soon as he messes up, the lieutenant goes inside. And then you bring him home and discipline him appropriately. Therefore, they shouldn't get deterred. They should go ahead and fight it, and fight it, and fight it. But again, those who are going to fight must also be people who wear the armor of righteousness. If we do that, we'll go a long way in this new year.